Guys, Jimi Hendrix here, and we have a really important issue that I want to bring up. I would like to bring you guys fishing video, like an actual in fishing footage. It's cold out, but this is something that's very important since the regulations just came out, and I have to get this out. We have a really big issue when it comes to the protection of catfish and the awareness of catfish to fishermen and non-fishermen alike. And there are three issues I really want to talk about, and we really need to get this message across to everybody. First, I would like to talk about like the regulations and the size you could take out of rivers and lakes. I'm using the Ohio example, but this applies to anybody in the United States or just anywhere with catfish. I would also like to talk about the monetization of catfish, illegal, and it goes on a lot. And then paylakes, which is a very dreadful business that's going on, especially in the Ohio, Virginia, and Kentucky areas. So the first thing I want to get into is the regulations and the length that you can use for catfish. Now the Ohio one just came out, and what it's showing for blues and flatheads, you could get anything under 35 inches. You could keep as much as you want. Now in channels it's under 28 inches, and I do like catfish. I think it tastes good. I've caught plenty of catfish. There are a lot of people that make their living off eating catfish. It's fun for fish fries and stuff like that. But there should be a limit. We have to find a middle ground. I'm going to try to come to this as objectively as possible. And what I propose to do with this issue, so, someone's not taking 30, 40, 50 catfish per day, is I would suggest potentially that we just start out at a certain number, depending on the wildlife biologist, talking to DNR, potentially a catfish limit, maybe let's just say 30. I'm just throwing this out, and we'll see how the fishermen respond to this number, and see how it might affect the population, depending if it's in danger. Well, it's not in danger, but it's being threatened in your area. But really, this will apply to blue and flathead catfish, since I like to catch and release like the flatheads I have. I've never kept one. Again, you could catch any under 35 inches. Again, this is going to be a very long video, but this message has to get across. These ones are almost on the stage of being a trophy class, while getting closer to it. They're like medium and high, and you could catch one over. What I would suggest to happen is we lower that 35 inches down to like maybe 32. That, I think that would make a very big difference when it comes to people still keeping that one big trophy catfish to mount or eat or something like that. So it'll appeal to them. And then for the activists also, you'll protect that, like, and let's say you go with 30, you could protect that 30 to 34, so you would only be able to still keep the one over that. So that whole group of 4 inches, those still are somewhat protected, and those will be closer to getting the population eventually a higher amount of trophy catfish. So I think that's a pretty good middle ground when it comes to that. The next thing I would like to talk about is the monetization of catfish. Now, this actually happens in the upper Ohio area. This probably happens in a lot of places. Of course, you have like state-bred catfish, farm-raised catfish that are sold like on the market, but there's like a blacklisted market where people will catch a bunch of their catfish, especially channels, and they will go ahead and give them all off to restaurants and do this on a daily basis, just making money and money off of this. And I don't support that. I believe that there should be a crackdown on this, and we need to get DNR on board with that. Again, in the Maumee, Toledo areas like Lucas, Wood County, the DNR, they're really great people. They give me a lot of great information. I believe this is above them as well to help get the protection, and we just need to get all tiers of all fishermen up to DNR and above them as well on the same page when it comes to the protection of the catfish species. We really need to stop the monetization of them. And the last thing that is the thing that really I hate the most out of this is the paylakes. Now, I will have two links in the description of the YouTube page that I paste this on, because I try to do research before I do this. And the main issue with pay lakes, there are people who fish the Maumee River a lot, and there's fishermen, very knowledgeable fishermen, that would trust with any bit of information. And it's a really accounted for, well, not accounted for, but a issue that's been seen several times. And what people are doing is they have trucks with an aerator system in the back. And what's going on is people are, especially out of the Maumee, they'll be noodling catfish out, and they'll be putting them in these aerator systems to be traveled to central or southern Ohio. And fish will die from the stress of just being in there. Probably half of them will die. And they'll be transferred to these small pay lakes or ponds to be caught over and over and over again until it stresses the fish out and might die. It's out of its environment. It's stressed. It's an unlawful practice. You're illegally transferring a fish to another body of water. Now, I know a lot of people around, good fishermen around the cat fishermen around the Maumee area, have tried to, at least take a picture of the license plate, do whatever they can to protect these catfish. There are a lot of great cat fishermen here who love the species and want to protect it the best they can. But what's really going to happen? Are they just going to get a fine? We are just going to get away with it. The people who are taking the catfish, we need DNR and the police to step up their game when it comes to the protection of catfish. If because there are a lot of people around the United States, especially in the Maumee area, who we really want to protect the catfish in general. Because what they're doing too is, when you take a catfish or a bunch of trophy-sized catfish, you're destroying the genetic diversity. So you're taking a couple 45-pounders out of it, and there goes a bunch of spawning catfish for the next generation. So it might take several years for a bunch of 45, some in the early 30s go up to the 40-pounders. So that takes some of the fun away too from being just a game catch and release fisherman. So that will affect the food chain when it comes to the river itself. And we really need to get DNR and whoever's above them on this issue, because really all the best we can do is take a picture of the license plate, wait for if it even gets processed, and potentially fine, but that really won't stop them. We really need to crack down on these pay lakes. It's a terrible issue. Now, the two links I'd like to talk about is, there's a pay lake exposed. There's great details. I'll link that in the description on the YouTube page. And the extra one, the other one, is very interesting. It's in Fisherman, one of the biggest websites when it comes to fishing. And they have something that's somewhat positively talking about pay lakes. And that really shocked me that a website of this nature would be somewhat talking positively about this really horrific act of pay lakes. So I'll put that in the link for you guys to read. This is a really big issue that we need to get, again, people who are fishermen and non-fishermen, so they're really well informed on this whole issue. We need to passively aggressively fight this. We need to be persistent with DNR. Hey, maybe we want this type of regulation. Hey, I've seen this pay lake as a flathead. It doesn't seem like a flathead would just randomly just appear in a random pond. So it, of course, had to be put there some way, somehow, illegally. I would like to report this. We need to bring awareness to every tier of person who's interested in in fishing, and we need to get them aware of the fun and the beauty of what it means to be a cat fisherman, to fish for those, how important they are to the environment, and how they balance that all out. So those are really the three main issues. I would really hope you guys that we share this information, that you guys create your own videos and contact your local DNR. This is something that we have to get taken care of, and I really hope for next year's regulations that we can make a big difference. I know you guys can do it. I know we can do it. We're a whole community of fishermen, and I know that we really care about our fishing diversity and protection. Have a good one, guys.